Hello, everyone. This is John Galt speaking, here with another live stream, which is titled Unreal Engine 5 Messing with Animations. Yes, again. You know, I really hate animations. I hate everything about animation. I hate making animations. I hate modding animations. I hate working with animations. I hate building locomotion. But some of you may or may not know that the last live stream that I did, I had mentioned something about that I'm contemplating, thinking about, potentially, possibly reviving a old project that I was working on back in the day, that I was going to try to make my own game, which was meant to be a hybrid between the game of Tribes and the game of Firefall. And I got pretty far into that project, and then a bunch of crap happened, and I quit doing it. And so, since I'm thinking and contemplating about doing that, I need to do some animation investigation. Okay, because I'm not going to bother trying to create a bunch of animations from scratch again, because we all know how that turned out, right? Obviously, it turned out bad. And so instead, what I think I'm going to try to do is use some animations that are freely available, right, from various different locations. And I'm going to see if I can tinker with them a little bit to get something that would be suitable for what it is that I'm trying to do. Okay. So let me get this editor updated here. And yeah, so I'm going to be starting this from scratch all over again if I do this. And you know, I said once upon a time, whenever I was deep in the thick of making that project, that if I had it to do over again, I would do things a little bit differently than I did it before. Okay. And so, yeah, if I do this, I'm going to be starting from ground zero. And the very first thing that I need is animations, right? Because you guys have heard me mention before that there's only two ways you can build a project, right? I don't care what project it is. There's only two ways or three that you can go about it. Three ways. Let's say there's three ways that you can go about it. One way is that you have a set of assets, whether it be animations, character models, weapon models, particle effects, sound effects. You have some that you use, and you build your mechanics of your game around those assets, right? That's one way. Another way is that you can have a set of mechanics in your head of how you want this game to play and how you want this project to work. And then you create the assets to match the mechanics that you intend to create. And then the third way is that you cobble together a bunch of assets and mechanics, and you try to cobble something together and make it work the way that you intend it to work. Okay. So that's generally the three ways you go about making a game, in my opinion. Okay. So it takes a lot of investigation to really determine which route it is that you want to go. And being a one-man army, right, which is me, that's going to be creating this project slash game, I have a limited set of skills that I have to work with. And those generally work around the mechanics of the game, like how to make the jetpack system, how to make the weapon system, how to make the ability system, how to make the AI, right? Where I lack tremendously is in the UI of the game, the menu systems of the game, and the assets, right? Like making particle effects, making animations, making models, right? That kind of stuff. So we're going to shut up, and you guys, I do have chat open, so feel free to ask questions. But really, I'm just going to be dicking around. And honestly, it's going to be using UE5 and UE4, right? And so who knows where we go first? Okay. So I guess the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a blank project in Unreal Engine 4.25.4. Okay. And the reason is because I want to take a look at some of these Paragon animations, and we're just going to create a default third person template, and we'll just call this UE4 anim test. Okay. And we're going to create this project, and we will have a look at some of these Paragon animations, right? Because you guys know that Epic released these things and you can use them, right? There's some controversy around what can you use and this, that, and the other. But essentially, I don't think that they have any problem with you using these animations as long as you don't try to claim that you made them, right? Now, of course, they don't want you using those characters and then creating a Paragon clone game, right? They don't want you doing that. But I don't think they have a problem with you using the stuff. Otherwise, they wouldn't have gave it away for free, right? If they didn't want people to use it, they should have not released it, right? I mean, that's the way I look at it. Okay? Okay. So let's go take a look at some of these Paragon characters, and let's pick out some of the animations I think we might tinker with. Okay, so obviously this is going to be a jetpacking game. So flying animations will be necessary. Well, the only Paragon character that I know of that has flying animations is that Faye character, right? And funnily enough, it's not showing up in here, so I'm going to have to maybe try to restart this. Right? Sometimes it does that. I don't know why, but sometimes everything in my library don't show up. I don't know why. It's Epic, right? It's always got something broke. So let's try this again and see if we can get this Faye character. And look, it's still not showing up. So isn't that just great? That's fantastic. The one damn character. Oh, there she is. Right? Okay, so maybe she did show up. So we're going to put her in there. We will be needing ground movements. I'm not so much concerned of the upper body of these characters, but we're going to need ground movement for sure. And so I need to pick one of these characters that I think I might use for the ground movement. And I really don't know which one. You know, we got Twin Blast. He's got the dual pistolas. We got this Wraith character, but I believe some of these animations with this Wraith character are actually bad, right? Like from Epic, they're bad. So maybe we'll put, you know what? Actually, let's put maybe Murdoch. Is he in here? Nope, he ain't showing up. Well, you already know. That's fine. Let's just put Twin Blast in there. So we'll put him in there. And we'll take a look at those. I don't know why that ain't showing up, right? You would think by now Epic would have their shit together and all the kinks worked out of their stuff, but obviously that is not true. Okay, and we would be also, we probably should put the animation starter pack in there. Are you telling me it's not showing up either? I guess not. Well, that's okay. So we'll have a look at some of these Lyra animations, right? So we will create this project too. I don't know. Every time I get in here and start messing with stuff, it's actually kind of depressing. It really is. I don't particularly know why, but it just is to me. Okay. We're also going to make a folder in here called testing so I can keep all my experimentation separate. Are we done yet? How about now? Close. Hello, Oni. I see you over there in chat. What's happening? Here we are again. Animations. Yay. All right, so we'll just let that ride. Okay, so this Faye character, he has flying animations, but I don't know if this is actually going to be any use to us, because it might not be suitable for what I want. Just open up one of these. It might look too fairy for what I'm trying to do. How about now? How about now? How about now? If I really get back into this again, I may end up having to upgrade my computer again. Yeah, you see how she kind of flinches left and right and all that stuff. I don't know if that would be what we would be needing, right? So we may not even have the option of doing that. Personally, I think already that's not going to work for what I want. I don't think. We might mess with it some, but I don't think it's going to be doing what we're wanting to do. So, with that being the case, let's go have a look at Twin Blast. And we need jog forward. And really, once again, I'm not concerned about the upper body because all that would be based on where the weapon ends up, right? So, in other words, it don't matter. You would think 8 cores, 16 threads, and 32 gigs of RAM with a RTX 2070 would be plenty enough to smoke Unreal Engine, but obviously it's not because I'm still bogging down, compiling shaders, etc., etc., etc. And that's not what we were looking for. We were looking for just jog forward, not forward stop. Well, where the hell is it? There it is. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. So that would be just the ground movement for the lower body. And then I would blend in whatever I need to blend in for the upper body based on whatever weapon the character is holding. Some of them would be held down to the hip. Some of them would be maybe chest level. Some might be two-handed. Some might be one-handed. So I'm not concerned about that, but the ground movement might be okay for this. What I really need to do is look at a fall loop animation, right? And see if there ain't some way we could turn that into a flying animation. Maybe. Well, I'll tell you what we could do. Let's mess with them. Right, where'd that testing folder go? Well, guess it didn't like me worth a damn. So I'm going to create a copy of this over here. And this will be the one that we can tinker with. Right? So that would be like fly up. And then if we could rotate him to make him look like he's going to the right and to the left and maybe to forward and backward, that might potentially work. Okay. So let's create a duplicate of this. And let's just call this fly FWD. Save all this because I know I'm going to blow this up. Okay, so if we take this animation here and we pause this thing, let's see if we can't rotate some bones and add keys here and see if we can't make him look like he's going forward, right? So I suppose we would rotate the pelvis. Let's just call it 10. Hit a key and apply it. And then we take the legs. Wow, look at all these bones in this thing. Holy mother of pearl. So that would be thigh left. Maybe we would change that. Okay. And then we go 20 there, add a key and apply it. And then we go thigh right. Add 20, add a key and apply it. And then we raise his upper arms up. Somewhere. So that would be upper arm left. Maybe just go 10 on that one. And then upper arm right. So 10 on that one. Add a key and apply it. And then we play the animation. Does that look like he's flying forward? I don't know, does it? I don't know. And then we got to go backwards. Okay. We'll put these in a blend space here in a minute and see what they look like. So let's save all that. And let's duplicate this one. And we will call this one Y BWD. And we'll reverse it. Okay. So pause this animation. And we will take the pelvis, and this time we're going to be going backward, right? So we'll put 10 in it. E and apply. And then we need to do the lower legs. So that would be thigh left. Turn that gizmo again. We go back 20. Or no. That would be forward 20. Add a key and apply. And then this one, add a key and apply. And then we take his arms, upper arm left. We go down, in, add a key and apply. And then upper arm right, add key and apply. Okay. Now let's see what that looks like. Kind of looks like he's going backwards. And remember, this is not, I'm just testing stuff here, right? So there would be a little bit more tweaking necessary than that. Like as an example, you would need to bring his head down to make it point forward like that's pointed. But this is just to get a general gist of if this is even feasible, right? Just taking a fallen animation and trying to turn it into some flying animations. And it may be, right? We'll find out here in a minute. Let's create a blend space, and we'll start putting some of these in here just to see, right? So we'll create a blend space, and this will be for Wind Blast, and we'll call this BSS Fly. Okay, and we'll open this. We will go to this, and we will put horizontal axis. That will be direction, and that'll be -90 or -180 to +180, and that needs to be, yeah, 4 is good. Then we will do speed, and we'll just say 0 to 600. Save it. And then we will put fly backwards in the corners and fly forward. Go here. And then this will actually be idle. I don't know. It kind of looks like he's flying to me. That's forward. That would be idle. And then that would be backward. So we need left and right. Okay, so we duplicate this. And we will call this fly left. And we pause it. And let's see here. So this is left. So that would be this way. So we would take the pelvis. And we would go in that way. Add a key and apply it. This one we might have to bring the spine back straight. In, add a key and apply it. I mean, that already kind of looks like he's leaning to the left, which is what that would be. But we could put a little more on the legs. Might look derpy, but we could try it, right? So if we take the leg, let's do the right one first. We go in that way. And then we go in that way. And then we reverse that for the right, right? So we will duplicate that again. And this will be fly right. And pause this. And that would be that way. So we take the pelvis. We go 10 that way. Add a key and apply. We need to bring him back up straight. So we bring that one back 10. Add a key and apply. And then we take the thighs and we go that way. In. Add a key and apply. Take that one. Add a key and apply. And now let's go throw them in that blend space and see if that helps matters any. So this would be fly left and fly right. And now let's see what we got here. All right. So that would be forward. That would be left. Right. Backward. I think that might work. Okay. That might actually work, guys. I don't know. Would have to see it in action, I guess. tell you what, we could try this, right? Like, I've got a project that's already got a jetpack system set up in it, and so why don't we give it a spin, right? Just go in there and replace those animations with these ones and see what it looks like. Might not work worth a damn, but then again, it might. We will see. Okay. So okay, let me have a look at this blend space. So that's idle, forward, left, right, and backwards. All right, so let's see here. How the hell am I going to get these animations in here? Well, shit, I don't know. Let's just export them, right? So asset actions, export, and we will put them on the desktop. And turn all this crap off. Okay. Okay. All right. Now we go in here. We'll make a folder called testing. We'll import from the desktop all those. And we will tell them to go on the gray dude. And go. Yep, that's fine. I don't care. Now we have that, which then means you can go in here and replace these ones with those ones. Right? So we shall delete all these animations. And we will put in while loop here. We will put typo here, my left, my right, my back. And let's go see what it looks like. It would be easy. It would be easier. I think that might work, guys. I might need to over exaggerate it a little more. Let me make that full screen. You know what? I need to here, let's make it where I can fly forever. That would be helpful. How the hell do we do that? I don't know who built this crap. I don't know, but we can cheat. Well, I tell you what, we could just give ourselves a metric ass load of energy, right? So force, energy. Let's just give ourselves 100,000. Or actually, we could just set these to 0. Fine. There's some way to cheat. I build it. We got dev code, yo. I believe that'll work, guys. So we can take those and change them. And like I said, it would need to be exaggerated a little more, because you can barely tell he's moving to the right, see? Backwards looks okay-ish. Forwards looks okay-ish. But for a rough estimate, I think that would work. Just taking the falling animation and modifying it a little bit. I think that is possible. Okay. All right, so that's one route, right? That could be gone using Paragon animations and modifying those. So another experiment that I would like to conduct is those Lyra animations, right? So those Lyra animations are for the new mannequin, but I don't remember if in any of these experimentations, if I tried to take those animations and put them on the old mannequin, right? Like, I don't know if I did that or not. So that is exactly what we're going to try right now. So there's one experiment complete. Now we move on to the second. Can we get these Lyra animations onto the old mannequin and make it look any good? Right? That's the question. And some of you guys may be asking, well, why are you trying to get the new animations on the new mannequin to the old mannequin? Well, there's a reason for that. All the characters that I own, right, that I have purchased, are all for the old skeleton hierarchy, right? They're all for that. And I bought these characters, a lot of these characters, specifically for the game that I was creating, right? So if I was to try to use the new UE4 mannequin, as my core base to start from, I'm going to have a big compatibility issue with all these characters. Okay. And I don't want that. So this project will probably be built in Unreal Engine 4.15. Specifically, if it's to be multiplayer, it's going to have to be built in 4.15. And you guys that have been around here for a while, you know exactly why that's going to have to be that way. But that doesn't mean that we can't try to use some of these animations. Okay. So what I'm wanting to do here is, well, first, let's just take an animation and export it. Let's do the rifle, and we will do jog. And we'll just take the rifle jog forward, right click, asset actions, export, and we will put that on the desktop. And then we will try to just import it straight onto the mannequin, right? The old mannequin, and let's see what happens here. It'll either work or it won't. Okay. Yes, I know it's going to say it's got a bunch of problems with the bones, and that's fine. But in the end, what does it look like? Well, it's got root motion for one, so that's terrible. So we're going to have to kill that. Force root lock. Well, it don't look terrible, but it looks like that his legs are hitting each other, right? Or maybe I'm just seeing that wrong, but it looks like his legs are hitting. They're like really, really close together. See there? So I would say that that's a no-go, right? But there is one more option that we could try, and that is to try to retarget it first before we export it and see what that does. Okay, so that ain't the end of the equation. So let's delete that. And wow, can I get any more windows open? And let's delete that. And let's try to first retarget it. Okay. Right click. Retarget animation asset, duplicate and retarget. And this will be from UE5 to UE4, like so. And what do we do? Just hit go? Is that how that works? Just hit go? Okay, and there it is retargeted. So then we take that and we export it to the desktop. Go. And now let's bring it in and see what it looks like. There's always another way, guys. Always. And now, as you can see, hopefully you can see, that cured, it looks like that cured our legs wrapping up against each other. Just barely though, but it seems like they're clearing. Well, that wrist is really racked right there, but Some of that stuff could be tweaked, I would imagine. You can see his hand is clipping into his belly here. So it don't look like that these are going to be viable, right? Because there would be a lot to be corrected. Like I would have to go in there and add those keyframes, pull this arm out so that it doesn't clip in here. And that would just be creating more work, right? And I'm still not really satisfied with the lower body of this character. See, they're still really, really close together, like right in here as an example. So even with doing a retarget, I don't think that is going to work very well. No, I would end up just having to work on them, like tons of work. So it looks like Paragon may be the answer. I may just have to use those. And once again, that's not terrible, right? More tweaking when the initial creation takes place. But I believe that will work. I believe it will. Okay. All right. So the next thing that I want to look at. So all them animations are just no, right? Those will not be able to be used. Not for what I'm trying to do. If I was using the Unreal Engine 5 mannequin, I'd probably be able to use those, but I'm not. So that is not going to be possible. So the next thing I want to do, if I can get any of these other stuff to show up, there it is, the animation starter pack, right? So what I want to do here is add this to here, and I want to show you guys something else that you can do. I'm sure a lot of you guys already know this, but it's worth pointing out, okay? And that's the blending of animations, okay? So what I'm talking about here specifically is if we were to take, say, well, I guess I could just do it this way. Right, let's see. Let's create an animation blueprint in here. And that'll be an anim instance, and we're just going to do it for the animation starter pack skeleton, okay? And we will save that. And I'm going to open this. And I want to show you guys a way that you can blend animations from one character to another, okay? And this is helpful, remember me saying that I don't care what the upper body looks like? This is why, okay? I want to show you guys why that is. It is because you can use this thing called layered blend per bone. This node right here. And you can blend two animations together based on a bone. So, as an example, we are going to take the jog forward rifle. We're going to take this and we're going to plug this in as our base pose. And then we're going to take the iron sights. Let's get that. And we will use walk forward rifle iron sights for one. And we're also going to take hip. And we will take jog well, we already have that, right? That's what that is. So we need the pistol. And we will take the idle pistol. Okay? And we will start out with just this. Okay? So we'll compile that and save it. So as you can see here, this is the jog forward rifle. Okay? And it's the hip fire where he's holding it down here at the hip. And then if we were to take the iron sights, okay, and use that instead, you guys can see that, well, it changes the lower body, but it changes the upper body as well. So let's say that you're not going to have this slow movement in your game. In other words, the character is constantly going to be jogging, okay, moving at this clip. So let's say you wanted his arms to be in the aim down sights pose, right? But you want the lower body to still be using the jog. Well, the way that you can do that is with this layered blend per bone node. Okay, so we're going to put this in as our base pose, like this. And then we're going to blend in the iron sights here, like this. Okay, so when you do that, you have to select the bone over here. So you select the layered blend per bone node, and you come over here to the layer setup, and you add a branch filter here, and you pick the bone you want to blend at. So you could say spine 0-1, okay? And then you could see now, okay, so you see it's blended it together. So the lower body's moving the same as it was, but the upper body's different. And you can see how it's kind of jerky looking. Well, that's where you can do this mesh space rotation blend here. If you check that to be true, you can see that it clears it up quite a bit. See? And then you can also change the blend depth here to include, let's say there's 3 spine bones, right? So you could try putting a 3 in here and compile that and save it. And now you can see how it smooths that out quite a bit. So remember what we started with was this, right? See his lower body and how his legs are moving, but the weapon is held at the hip. So if we want to use that same speed, but we want it to be held up here in the iron sights pose, we can do this here. And now we have the same lower body movement, but we have the weapon held up here. And then the same goes for this. Okay, so you want the pistol pose instead of the rifle. Well, now you have that. So you guys see how that works? So that's why I said it doesn't matter what the upper body looks like, because the pose will be dependent on which weapon he's carrying. And there might even be a scenario where it is dual pistols, right? So I would use the upper body of Twin Blast, but the lower body would be based on the same speed, right? So in this case, it would be jog. Now, if you wanted to put walk in, you would have to do this instead. So your base pose would be the lower body here, right? And you compile that and save it. And now you can see it's using the walking animation, but he's still in the pistol pose, and you could even put the hip in, right? Now that looks a little weird, right? And it's because the speed of the upper body is faster, right? So there's a couple ways that you could fix that. One of them would be to change the play rate to something like maybe 0.8, and you could change the play rate of the upper body animation. So see there, just by changing the play rate of the upper body or the lower body, you can see how that smoothed it out some. And you'd have to tinker with that. It might be 0.5 even. Yeah, that's too slow. So do a happy medium of 0.6 maybe. It's a little better. I would say it's probably 0.75 or some bullshit like that, but whatever. You guys get the point here. And then that also goes for the upper body, right? So we were doing the iron sights with the speed of the lower body, right? So you can see we slowed the jog down. So if we set that back to default now, that looks okay-ish to me, but you could take and speed this up to like 1.2 to make the upper body move a little bit more with the lower body. See? Voila! Learn something new every day. And so, in other words, when I get the lower body of the flying animations tweaked exactly right, all I'll have to do is blend in what upper body pose is going to be used. So it ain't like I'm going to have to go in there and make, you know, different animations for every single weapon. All I'm going to do is pick a base movement. Like, am I going to use twin blast lower body jog, right? And then just blend in some different upper body poses. And if I use the lower body for the ground movement, well, if I use the fall loop and I go in there and tweak them like I did just a minute ago, in other words, add some keyframes and make him look like he's flying to the left and to the right, forward and backward, well, all I have to do is make one set of those and then just blend in whichever upper body weapon pose I'm going to use, right? Now, of course, this would be set up different. It would be in a blend space or whatever, but it would just simply be, well, we put one of these in, and then, you know, we put an enum or something like that and say if he's in the rifle, use this as the upper body. If he's in the pistol, use this. If he's dual pistol, use twin blast, etc., etc. That's how that would work. And so there you go. So that is probably what I'm going to do. And you know, honestly, just to be honest with you guys, I don't hate the animation starter pack animations. It could very well turn out that I use this as the foundation of the animation, right? And then blend in some upper body poses from, say, Twin Blast or Murdoch, right? It just depends. This is just an initial analysis of how I would go about doing this. And that's how, right? That's exactly how I would set that up. It's a shame that the Lyra animations won't work for this, because those would be good to use, probably, but they're obviously not going to work, unfortunately. That's pretty cool. Okay. Well, let's see if there's anything else I wanted to have a look at while I was in the midst of doing this. Probably not. I do know for a fact that the animations that come in the default third-person template are ass. So there's no way that I would even bother trying to use these, because these are like literally terrible. Like this jump loop is an example. I mean, I could probably try to turn that into the flying animations, do the same kind of thing that I did with Twin Blast, like rotate him forward, move his legs back. But that's just a shit core animation to start from the get-go, right? So I wouldn't be using that. And that also goes, as a matter of fact, that also goes for the jumps, right? So I showed you guys that. Let's go back into this animation blueprint for a second here. And let me show you guys what this does when you incorporate a jump into this. So, well, let's take this fall loop as an example. And let's export this. I'm just doing this to keep from having to retarget back and forth. So let's put this on the desktop here. And let me show you guys this. So if we go back, I'm going to have to rename that jump. Test all. Okay. So now let's re-import that into here. And I'll show you guys, this works with the jumps too, is what I'm going to show you here. So if we bring in this here, and we put that on the proper skeleton that we used, which was the animation starter pack skeleton. And we save that. Now we go back in here, and we look for that animation. Test fall, right? So if we do this and we use this as our base animation, look at this. See? So it works the same way. And so if we wanted the rifle hip, we do this. Of course, we would have to take that movement out for that one. In other words, we would use the idle, and the same for that, right? So, in other words, if we were to set this play rate to 0, and we set this one to 0. Oh, no. That's here, 0. Did I do that one right? Yep. So now you can see if we put this one in, see how it trims his upper body so it ain't moving like he's running. See, but you could use the idle animation for that. You wouldn't have to do this. But so in other words, you could blend, even the jumps would work. See? So the lower body always stays the same, and it's only the upper body that changes. See, that's a idle pistol. So see there, if you just use the idle in the jumps, the upper part of the body would be idle, rifle, pistol, dual pistol, whatever it is. And then the lower body would just be, whichever fall that you pick. In this case, it would be flying, jetpacking. Pretty cool. Okay, so I guess that's it, right? Like, I mean, I just wanted to have a look at some animations and see what I had that I could work with. And so it looks like I would have to pick whichever ground movement I'm going to use. And once again, I haven't looked at all these animations, so I'm not dead set on it being Twin Blast, as an example. There's plenty of other ones to look at. Like, I'm pretty sure it's going to have to be a Paragon character, but there's a bunch of them, right? So I don't know exactly which lower ground movement I would like to use. It could end up being Drongo. It could end up being Murdoch. I'll have to go through here and have a look at them, and whichever one that I like the most, that'll be the base of the lower body across walking, jogging, flying, and then I'll just worry about what I want them to look like in the upper body, and that could either be some of the animation starter pack animations, it could be some of the other Paragon character animations, it could be any of them, right? Because it's only going to be the upper body, so it doesn't much matter. Hell, you could even use some of them that, you know, have melee or whatever it is. It doesn't necessarily have to be one of them that carries some type of shooting weapon. It could be any of them. A lot of it just depends on what they look like. Some of them may not look worth a damn, and then some of them may be okay. Like even Lieutenant Bellica, I think she holds like a two-handed weapon, like a SMG type weapon. That could be used as the upper body of one weapon. Murdoch could be used a different one. Revenant could be a different one. Okay. Okay. Well, I guess that is the end of the test. It will work. So now I'm gonna go clean up the mess that I just made. Get rid of that. Get rid of all of it. I don't need. Okay. All right, so before I end this stream, another thing that I'm going to talk about is the character's weapon loadouts and abilities, right? And so to do that, we're going to have to go to BoobTube. So in Firefall, I don't know which one of these videos would be a good video. Let's mute it. So I'm going to pause it right here. Okay. So in Firefall, the characters had, I think it was 3 abilities and an HKM and a primary and a secondary weapon and a grenade throw and a melee attack. Okay. So that was a shitload, right, of firepower. So if memory serves me correctly, and it's been 1,000 years since I played this, but if memory serves me correctly, you had 3 abilities, and then this one was an HKM. The only time you could use the HKM is when it charged up. Okay, so the way the HKM worked was as you were fighting in the game, shooting stuff, killing stuff, shooting stuff. Every time that you were engaged in combat, the HKM would start building up. And then whenever it was fully charged, you could use it, and then you had to start that process all over again. So it ain't like you could always use your HKM. It was only occasionally. But the 3 abilities that you had, you could use them far more often than you could the HKM, but each one of these still had a cooldown, okay? I'm not doing that. The characters that I'm building are only going to have 1 ability per character. Yes, it will be a cooldown, same. You use it, you got to wait for a duration, then you can use it again, then you wait for a duration, then you could use it again, etc., etc. but I'm not putting 3 damn abilities on every character plus an HKM. That's not happening. The loadouts on my character are going to be a primary weapon and a secondary weapon. So they're only going to have 2 guns. Okay. They're going to have 1 ability that can be activated. 1 ability. And they will have a grenade throw, right? An offhand grenade of sorts that you can throw. And no melee. Right, like I'm not putting melee in my game. I never have liked melee in games, and I'm not putting it in mine. So for the loadouts of these characters, you're going to have a jetpack system. Right, you're going to have a jetpack system where you can fly around. You're going to have a primary weapon and a secondary weapon. You're going to have 1 ability and a grenade throw. Okay, and then that is going to be the way that these characters work. Okay, so I guess we could talk about some of the abilities, and I might start prototyping some of these abilities. I've already built quite a few of them, but I may start prototyping some of them. So one ability that I want to make is called Burn Jets, and I will show you guys what that looks like. So if you'll watch this character here, he will activate an ability. Fire is going to come down from his boots, and that does damage to enemies. And he hovers as he's doing this, as you can see. So that's an ability that I'm going to try to recreate, an ability called Burn Jets. Okay. Shouldn't be too hard to make. I'm pretty sure I can do that. Another one that I'm going to make is called Afterburner, which I've already actually made that. It already exists, and all it does is thrust the character in the direction that you're looking at a high rate of speed, right? So there you go. Doesn't do any damage or anything. It just makes you go forward, up, down, whichever way you're looking. I liked that one. So that's another one that I'm going to create. And then there's a whole list of other abilities that they're going to have. There's going to be classes, right? So there's going to be an assault class, a recon, a dreadnought, an engineer, and a biotech. So there's going to be 5 classes. Each one of them will have a different primary weapon, and the secondary weapons are going to be universal, right? So there's going to be a pool of secondary weapons that you can just put on your character. You might get a pistol if you want. You could get a assault rifle, a grenade launcher. That's not going to be class specific. The primary weapon, however, is going to be specific to the class. Okay? So as you can see in here, you've got the assault character carries what's called a plasma cannon. The engineer, he'll get a different kind of weapon. He will, the biotech will get a different kind of weapon. The primary weapons are going to be unique to the class. Secondary weapons are going to be universal. The abilities are going to be specific to the class. Okay. And the offhand grenade will probably be universal as well. It just depends. But that's the idea that I'm going to roll with. I can't get too overly complicated because it's only me making this game. So as much as I would love to be able to put 4 abilities on a character, 38 different weapons, it ain't going to happen. Okay. I have to keep my scope small and build it up as I go. So the first class that I'm going to work on is actually probably going to be the assault class, because that was my favorite class in Firefall. It was the assault class. That's the class that I always played. So that'll probably be the one that I use to begin the, prototyping. I'm going to build the assault class, get his movement all the way that I want it, put his weapons on him, put his abilities on him, put his grenade on him, and then tweak him in just the way that I like him. And then after that happens, I'll move into the different class. Dreadnought, engineer, recon, whatever it ends up being. But the very first one is going to be the assault class. And that is exactly what I will do. Okay? All right. And so with that, I'm going to bring Chad over here. Hello, John. Thanks for your video and your game. You're welcome. Please, John, explain us how to add score to your TPS game, which is on Unreal Engine Marketplace. So I guess I could talk about this a little bit. I did not, in the TPS Basic, I'm assuming that's the one that you're talking about, I did not put a scoring system in there. I don't think. There may be a remnant of it in there. I'm going to have to go look. It's been a hot minute since I actually even built that. I don't know. I probably didn't, just to be honest with you. I probably didn't. Really? I can't find my own stuff? Is that how this is going to be? Epic, are you going to be this way to me? There it is. Multiplayer TPS. I don't know which version. Does it matter? I don't know. I personally like the earlier versions, right? Because it doesn't have near as much lag and latency in it. And that's not a me problem, by the way. That's a Epic Games problem. Their engine got shittier and shittier and shittier with every engine version. Oh, you shouldn't say that. It's obvious, right? Like if you were to do a performance test on my project in 4.15 and compare it into 5, you're going to see a humongous difference in the performance. Okay, so let me open this up here and see if I actually put... I don't think I did. Like, I don't think I put in... I don't think I put in any kind of scoring system in this whatsoever. Let's see here. How long has it been since I actually did this? 100 years, 200 years, 300 years? I don't know. Nope, it is not in here. Not at all. Let me go look. Let's see. If I did have remnants of that in here, where would it be? Well, it would be in the game state. That's where it would be. And it is not in here. I think that's where I put it in the other projects. Yeah, I'm quite sure it would. That's where it would be. And all that's in here is server travel. So I did not put a scoring system in here. So you don't have it. And if you wanted to add that, like you're asking me, explain how to add a score. Well, that's a loaded question, right? Like that's hard to answer, because what do you want to give you the score? Is it shooting people? For every bullet that you shoot at someone that hits them, do you get a point, 2 points, 10 points, 5 points? Is it only when you kill an enemy that you want it to give you a score? How much? Does it give you this much if you kill a recon? Does it give you this much if you kill a heavy? Right? So it's a loaded question on how to add a scoring system to any game. First, you got to determine what is it that's going to give you the score. Is it going to be more than one thing? Do you get so many points for every shot that you hit? Do you get a certain amount of points for every kill that you kill? Do you get a certain amount of points for every headshot that you make? Right? So first you got to determine what is it that's going to give you the score. If it's more than one thing, you're going to have to create an entire system to track that, right? Like, okay, you got one system that's running headshot tracking. You got another system that's running every hit that you get. So it's a loaded question, okay? A very loaded question. But what I can do is show you in this simple capture the flag project that I sell. Oh God, here he goes again with another damn product for sale. Yes, that's the way that I make money, which enables me to do this stuff. So yes, I advertise. So this is on the UE4 marketplace for a whopping $6, right? So it's only $6. It's a very simplistic template, but what it does have is a scoring system, at least the beginnings of a scoring system. So let me get this project created here, and we'll go in here and have a look at it. But if you really want to look at it, you're going to have to buy, at a bare minimum, this little $6 template that I sell. So let's go in here and have a look at how this score system works in here. And remember, it's only a simple scoring system, okay? Because let me explain this to you guys. If you guys have never worked in this industry to the point that you're selling things to customers, you have no idea how complicated and crazy some of the requests that you get are. You know, there's some people, as an example, that buy this little $6 template and expect you to tell them how to build the rest of their game because they bought a little $6 template, right? And then also, if you build a template one way, right, you've got a million other people that have bought it or are interested in buying it that want it to work completely differently than how you built it. And if you're not willing to do that, well, then they think that you've got a shit product, or they don't buy it to begin with. And so it's a complicated business trying to satisfy customers, particularly when they're buying things that only cost $6 and think that you owe them, you know, a 4-hour video explanation as to how to build their game because they bought your little $6 template. So I have to be very careful about what I answer and what I don't answer. Okay. So don't take any of this stuff personally. I'm not picking on you personally. I'm just trying to explain how complicated it gets trying to answer questions from people. Okay. So in this little template here, there's no shooting. There's no killing. It's literally just a little example of how capture the flag would work in multiplayer. Okay. And it's team based, right? So you got red team and blue team, and then you got a red flag and a blue flag. Okay. And so when you run over the blue flag as a red dude, you get to pick their flag up, and now you have their flag. Now, the only way that you can capture said flag is to get it back to your side of the map and walk over top of your flag stand. And when I did that, you can see that the red score went from 0 to 1. Okay. So the only way that you can score in here is by simply capturing the flag, right? That's it. That's the only way that you can score. And for every time that you capture the flag, you get 1 point. And if you get 5 flag captures in a row, or you're the first team to achieve 5 flag captures, you win, right? So we're going to go ahead and win. So let me get one more. And then after you win, it pops up and tells you which team won. Voila. Simple as that. Okay. Now, that's it. That's as simple as it. That's as simple of a scoring system exists. Okay. Now, you can get far more complicated from there, right? You get this many points if you pick up the flag. Okay. If you capture the flag, you get this many points, right? If you are on the opposite team and you kill the person that's carrying the flag, you get a certain amount of points. If you return the flag, you get a certain amount of points, right? So see there, it can quickly spiral out of control. So the first thing that you need to do is figure out what is going to give you the score. Is it going to be one thing? Is it going to be multiple things? Are you going to have multiple different ways to score? Is the score going to be for teams only, or are you going to do individual people, right? So in other words, for every time a single person captures the flag, he's the only person that gets that many points, and then his team as a whole gets this many points, right? Do you see? So it can get really, really complicated. So what I'm going to do here is basically go in here and show you a little bit of the guts of how that works. Okay. So this is simple capture the flag. I determined when I built this template that the only way that you're going to be able to score is if you get the flag and you take it all the way back to your base. And if you manage to do that, you get 1 point, and it's not for you, it's for your entire team. Okay. So I determined that. And so that means that there is going to be a flag in the game, right? And since there's going to be a flag in the game, the flag is what's going to actually cause you to get the score. So in my flag spawner blueprint, in here, you can see that at the end of this bit of logic right here, which is on pickup flag or cap flag based on if a player has flag or team. So if you pick up the flag and you manage to capture the flag, which is right here, you can see that it calls this function called add score. And it's looking to see which team it was, right? So was it the red team that gets the score, or was it the blue team? And this goes into the game state blueprint. So if I double click this, this is going to take me to the game state blueprint inside this simple capture the flag template. And whenever you capture the flag, it calls this, which then it looks to see which team it was. And if it was the red team, you can see that it adds 1 to the red team score. If it was the blue team, you can see that it adds 1 to the blue team score. And every time that a score happens, it checks to see if it was the 5th flag capture, because the 5th flag capture is what ends the match, right? So you can see we're checking that. And if the red team wins, you can see that this is where it's going to display the red team won, right? And then essentially what happens is it pops up that screen that says that they won, right? And then it waits for a duration, and then it goes into map travel, which means it opens the second map. When you finish the second map, it opens the first map. I've just got this set up on a rotation because there's only 2 maps in this little demo, okay? Now, also, if there is no team, right, this had to be accounted for. Well, what happens if no team gets 5 flag captures? Does the match just go on forever? No, it don't, because this match has a timer, right? So if I spawn in here, okay, and you see that there is a time remaining. You see that? So when you start the match, if you go through the menu and start the match, you have the ability to say, is it 30 minutes per match? Is it an hour per match? Is it 15 minutes per match? If no team manages to get that 5th flag capture before the timer runs out, a little bit of different logic happens, okay? And so, as you can see right here, this is where I'm running the timer, the match timer, okay? And when the match timer all reach 0, meaning the time's over, it's going to look to see which team has the most points. If the red team's score is greater than the blue team's score, when the match is over, the match ends, the time runs out, then the red team won. If the blue team's score is higher than the red team's score when that timer runs out, the blue team wins. If they're equal to each other, meaning the red team's got 3 caps and the blue team's got 3 caps, it simply says that the match ends in a tie, and then it goes and runs the exact same logic, which cycles the map to the next map. So that is a basic scoring system that I set up in this little template. Now, with this core foundation, you can get far more complicated than that, right? And what do I mean by that? Well, as an example, you could say, you could build logic to say that here, let me give you an example. So let's say that you wanted to say, if this actually had shooting in it, which it don't, this little template does not have shooting in it, but let's just pretend for a moment that it does. We've got guns and we have capture the flag, and I can run around and kill people and they can kill me. Let's say that since I already have this core foundation of capture the flag built into this template, and the scoring system already is in this template, let's say that, okay, if someone kills a flag carrier, I want them to be able to get more points for their team, right? Because remember, I've not got this set up to track individual players. That gets another layer of complication over top of what I've already did. But in this example, let's just say that I have added shooting and killing to this template, and I want it to give 1 point for every flag capture, but I want it to be able to give 10 points if someone kills someone who's carrying a flag. I want you to be able to get 10 points. Well, how would I do that? Well, since the core scoring system is already in, all I need to do is say, okay, where is the player getting killed? Well, in this little $6 template, which everybody thinks ain't worth $6, because you guys would be shocked at how many comments I get from people on this little template. I already have in this little template a way to force respawn. In other words, a way to kill yourself. Okay. And if you see right here, you'll see this in red, and it says force respawn and set player to ragdoll. So in your logic where you put in your damage and stuff, okay, you would have this this thing called any damage, right? Event any damage. So whenever you're shooting a player, you're going to be firing this, and it's going to be what's reducing the health of the player. Well, when you kill a player, meaning his health value reaches 0, you would do a check right here to see if the player that you killed has the flag. And if he does have the flag, you would call add score. And in there, you would put logic in to say that if that player that died had the flag, we're going to give him 10 points for his team instead of just 1. Okay. So a scoring system is a very complex and complicated thing to continue to build off of. But once you have the core foundation, you can start building off top of that. Right. And it depends on what you're going to do to score. Are you going to give a certain amount of points for just killing a player? Are you going to give more if they had the flag? Are you going to give a certain amount for each damage that you do? Right. So you just have to, you have to figure out how you want your scoring system to work and then build from there. Okay. So that's why I said, when you ask that question, that's a loaded question. That's a question that you can't answer. It's because I don't know how you want your game to work. I don't know. But the game state would be where you would calculate the score. That would be where you would do it. So in my template, that third person template that you're asking about, right? Let's go back in here for a minute. You would need to create a add score, right? And that would go in the game state blueprint. So if we go back into this third person template here, we have a, if you haven't figured out my little naming convention here, BPGI, right? Well, that's the game instance. BPGM, well, that's the game mode. And BPGS, well, that's the game state, right? So inside here, you would simply do a custom event, right? And you would call it add score, right? And you could put on a input here, and you could call it something like score, and you could change this over to be a integer. Okay. And depending on how you want to do it, right? Is it teams? Is it individual players? Well, if it's individual players, you're going to have to create a way to get the player that you need to give the score to. And you're also going to have to figure out a way to display that, right? So in this little template, let's see, did I put the player list in here? I think I did. So if we hit the P key, you can see that there's a player list integrated in here, right? So you would have to tie into that and say, okay, well, how do you do that? Well, since I already have a player list in here, you could go and look at that widget and see how I'm getting the player. So that would be, where the hell would that be? God, it's been a long time since I built this project. I'm surprised that I can remember anything about it. Right here, there's a widget blueprint player list. So if you open this up and you go into the graph, you're going to be able to see that what we're doing is we're getting the game state, and there is a player array in the game state. See that? So then that means if you're in here, you should have something already in here called a player array, right? And that is a array of all the players that are connected. Okay. And so from that, you could do, God, I don't even know how you would do this. For each loop, right? You could probably do something like that. And let's see. So array of player state object references. So you would have to pass through this event. You would have to pass through. Let's see. How would you do this? Player. Right. And that would be a, oh God, how would you do that? Wow, that just got a lot more complicated. You would have to figure out which player it was. So and that is a player state. Is that what it was? Right. So you would have to pass through. Well, hell, it would be a player state. Player state object reference. Okay. And then you would, so that would be, wow. So you would have to check to see if that was equal. If it's equal to the person that scored. Put a branch here. I'm just pissing around here, so don't take this as a tutorial, right? But what I'm saying is, so when you call this, you're going to have to figure out if that's who did it. Okay. So as an example, we could go into the character blueprint is what I'm looking for here. Yep. Okay. And so this is the character blueprint. And so in here, you would have to get game state. Okay. You'd get the game state, and then you would cast to the game state. Oh, wow. So let's just type game state. Where's the custom game state? GS. I know it's in here somewhere. Maybe let's see. BPGS. There it is. You cast to that game state, and then you call add score. Damn it, did I not call it score? Okay, fine. Have it your way. File, save, compile, save. Oh, it's add score. I thought that's what I typed, though. Add score. Are you fucking kidding me? GSMP. That's what we put that in. That's it right there. How come it ain't cooperating? You motherfucker. I hate this engine sometimes, I swear to God. All right. Why can I not call that a custom event that I just created in here? Well, that's because Unreal Engine's a piece of shit. That's why. Test add score. Let's try changing the name. Is it a name of conflict? Is that what we have here? Probably. I don't know. Oh, look. Test add score. Imagine that. Fucking piece of shit. All right, so there it is. And then you would have to send through which player it was. Right? So what did it say that was an array of? It says that array of all player states. Okay. So then you would have to get the players, get player state. Okay. And you would have to get this character's player state. And you would pass that through, right? So that's this character's player state. And then it would loop through all the connected players until it got the same player state as that guy, right? And then when that became true, then you would, add the, you would add that, I'm looking at your text here. So basically I spelt it wrong. Is that what it is? Well, you know what? It wouldn't be a shocker to me. Oh, look, it is spelt wrong. Here I am cussing the engine out, calling it everything under the book, and it's because I spelled it wrong. I was just kidding. Unreal Engine, I love you. You're not a piece of shit, and you don't make me mad. I love you. No, actually, it does piss me off, but yes, you are correct. I do that shit all the time, right? Like if you've ever watched any of my tutorial videos, I'll sit there, why is this not working? Why is it? Oh, it's because I can't spell, obviously. Well, whatever. I never claimed I could spell, but I can game dev, bruh. That don't mean I can spell. Okay, but anyway, what I'm saying here is I'm passing through this character that did this, their player state, and then where you add the score, right? You got to get all the players that are connected, right? And then when you get to the character that made the score, then you can then do something to him, right? Like you can make it display it in that player list, for example. You could put a widget down by him on his health bar that shows his score. Okay. So there you go. I mean, that's the essential ins and outs of it. But I hope that you understand that creating a proper scoring system is something that takes a lot of thought, a lot of research, a lot of development. It's one thing to just add a score. It's a completely different thing if you want different scores depending on what it is that you did. It's also a completely different thing if you want it to be team scores and individual player scores. So it gets complicated. And so hopefully this will at least give you a place to start, right? Like a place to start. Okay, well, you got to figure out how you want your scoring system to work, and then you build on top of it. So if you're using my TPS basic template, which you are, obviously, what do you want to give you the score? Is it killing the enemy? Right? Well, if it's killing the enemy, check this out. Here's the enemy master blueprint. See this? So if you open this up, inside this enemy master blueprint, look here. Look what exists right here. Event any damage, apply damage, and set to chase targets, etc., etc. So you can see right here, we're looking at the enemy's health, and when that character's health reaches 0, we're killing the enemy right here. See this? So what you could do right here is you could say, get game state right here. Get game state. You got to cast to that custom game state. So that would be BP GS, cast to the custom game state right here. And then you would add, spelt correctly, SORC, right? Test add score right here. And then you would literally just splice this in right here. Add score. Now, you could just say 1 for now, right? You could say 1. And then if you want to know the player, well, that's asking for the player state. Well, this right here tells you the damage causer. The instigator, that is a player controller. So how the hell would you do that? Well, you would have to go to the BP PS. Let's see, that's player controller. So you would have to go to the player controller. From the player controller, you would get controlled pawn. Get control pawn. And then from that, you would cast to the master, the character master, right? And then from the character master, you could get player state right there. And then you could pass through the player state, which would then, wow, let's just build an entire game on live stream today. Can we do that? Right? So it would have to go. Let me move all this over here. Yep. So what would actually have to happen here would be, first you would go up here, right? And then you would get all this data, the player state. Then you would go back down here and you would pass the player state through, which would then take you into the game state, which would then run through the player array until it got the player state of that character. And then you could display it, right? Like display it wherever you want to. If it's in the widget, how the hell would you get to the widget? That would be, what the hell was that widget called? Right? Like, could we modify it in there? I don't know. How did I end up sitting here making a whole damn game on live stream all of a sudden? What happened? I don't know, but whatever. Right? So if we were to do, if we were to want to display that single player's score in that widget that I just showed you a minute ago, how the hell would we do that? Well, we would have to first find out what the hell that widget was called. Okay, so that would be the server list row. It ain't the interact bar. What the hell? We just looked at that a minute ago. What the hell was it? Player list row. Right, is that it right there? All right, so that's the widget that's got the player name in it. So you would add a, you know, a divider or something here, and you could put a score. But how would you get to that from all the damn way over here? So let's see. You would get user, no, it wouldn't be that. How the hell do you get a widget? I can't remember how. I might have to go look at another project, right? Because I don't remember how you do that. Get user widget. Nope. Get widget. Nope. There is a way to do that. Let me see here. Shit, did I already delete that? I don't know. Oh, let's see here. Let me go back in here and look at something for a second. Y'all all caught me off guard, and I wasn't planning on doing this. But let's see here. So in the game state of this capture the flag here, where the hell did it go? It's in here somewhere. The game state, right? We are adding a widget telling them that the match is over, right? Ain't that what we're doing in here? Oh, so we're getting the player, get all actors of class, that's the player controller. Oh, no, we're doing that completely different in here. We're just displaying it on the individual HUDs. So, I don't know how the hell you would do that. I don't know. I don't know how the hell you would do that. There's got to be a way, though. To modify that widget. I just don't remember right offhand how to do it. Right. So that would actually take some research on my part. I don't remember how to do that. There's got to be a way, though. See what we got in here. Get all widgets of class. I don't think that would be the way to do it. Surely not. Get player screen widget geometry. Wow, boy, they really, shrunk it down in here so that you could find it. There's a way to do it, right? Like, I don't know how, but there is a way that you can get that widget, modify a value in that widget, and update it, right? There is a way to do that. I just don't know how the hell to do it. Man, that would get all widgets of class. What's the class? Well, it would be the player list row. Found widgets. Holy shit. I don't think this is right, but this would give you an idea anyway for each loop. Right? So you would loop through all those damn widgets. And then in the widget itself, you would have to have a, by the player name, you would have to have a something that you could modify, right? So you could put another text in here. And yeah, you could put a text in here and call this score. I'm just going to see if I can like jerry rig something together here just for a hot second, just to see if this is even remotely correct. Okay. And so this would have to be a variable, right? So you would do that, compile it and save it. And then in here, from that, you could, well, we need to name that so I can find it, right? So let's call this, okay, rename, please, F2, is that how? Score, text. Let's just see if I can get access to that. Maybe, I don't know. Or, look at that, get score text. And then you would set text. Oh, look at there. I guess it's that. Would do that. And then it would be the score amount, right? And you would plug that in there and it'll do that conversion for you. Should I even try this? I don't know. This may just blow up. I feel like Wile E. Coyote playing with an Acme Dynamite kit right now. So now where did I put that? In the enemy? Oh God, put that in the enemy. File and save. Do I have to kill one enemy for that to happen? I don't know. Should we go try to kill one and see what happens? Actually, let me hit the P key and see if that's even. Oh, look at that. So it's showing score. And it'll stay that way until we kill something, right? So let's just see if this actually even does anything. Let me get something that I can actually kill these things with. These guys are mean, right? Like, I don't even know if I can kill any of these guys. Let's just see if it'll do anything. I don't know. Nope, it did not change it. So no, it's going to take more than that to get it done. Damn it. Well, anyway, whatever, right? Like, I didn't aim to turn this into an entire tutorial, but that's the general gist of it anyway. But yeah, no, that didn't work. Could be a multitude of different reasons why it didn't work, but you know, whatever. Let me go ahead and close this down. No, I don't want to save any of that. I just blew it up. Why would I want to save it? All right. So let me bring Chad over here. Yes, I see you edit score. Yeah, I spelled it wrong. Thank you very much, John, for your modesty and your explanation. You're very welcome. Why not an update of multiplayer TPS basic with the score? I don't know. I try not to update anything any more than possible because you get feature creep. Oh, you added the score? Well, now I need you to do this. Now you should do that. Now you should do that. And then you end up forever working on it. So the only updates that any of my products get from now on are just to make sure that they're at least compatible with the most current engine version. I don't do anything else to them. Okay. So with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out. And maybe in the future, I will actually start making my game again. I don't know. We'll still see. But if I don't know, maybe, I don't know, maybe if you guys appreciate what I do here and you would like to see more video of me building things, answering questions, you can make a contribution to my PayPal account, buy me a cup of coffee, right? And yeah, grow this channel to where, you know, there's some benefit for me from doing this. I don't have a problem, you know, making instructional videos and stuff, but I'm not one of these guys that's just going to sit here and, you know, make endless videos and edit for endless hours just so somebody will click that thumbs up button, right? I'm not that guy. But if you guys make contributions to my channel via my PayPal, send $1, $2, $5, that motivates me to start making videos on my YouTube page again. But if there's no benefit for me, there's no point in doing it. Okay. So with that, you guys take care. This is John Galt, and we will see you in another video in another time. Have a good one.